Hello, beloved. I thank you so much for your time and I thank you for joining me on the Prophetic Vessel Show. This will be your message from God, Ra, Allah, Source, the Divine. I'm grateful for your time. To those whom are keen or interested in becoming members of my Patreon, on my Patreon, I offer weekly sign readings for $10 per month based on love as well as spiritual path. I also offer on my Patreon personal readings for $50 per month. You get a personal reading from me every month based on love, spiritual path, as well as career and finances. You'll find the link to my Patreon listed in my description box below. You can also join my Patreon by typing what is on the screen via Google. Search it and it'll lead you to my Patreon website. Without further ado, let us tap in and find out why were you spiritually led here? What is here for you, beloved? Why did you resonate with the title? And why did your own YouTube algorithm present you with this message? Let us tap in and talk to God, okay? Okay, we have the judgment. Okay, interesting. With the judgment energy, I heard, claudically, the message that came to mind. I heard the Claudian message of, many are called, few are chosen. Let's see what this is about. We have the Four of Cups here. We have the Hermit reversed. We have the Six of Pentacles reversed. We have the Three of Swords reversed. We have the Justice reversed. And then we have the Page of Swords. Okay. We have double Scorpio energy. We have Virgo as well as Pisces energy. We have Taurus energy, triple Scorpio energy actually. We also have Gemini, double Gemini. We have Libra and Aquarius energy, double Libra energy. And then we also have Aries energy here. So with that being said, I am seeing here that, God is laying your enemies to rest, okay? At this time, it's like we live in a world now where it's survival, right? Survival of the fittest. Everybody's looking out for themselves. Nobody really is genuine about anything that they do or say, okay? And because of that, an enemy doesn't have to be based on your awareness of them. Meaning that you don't have to know that someone is an enemy for them to be an enemy. They are already that. All right. And the enemy is not your friend. The enemy will watch you die, watch you get hurt, put you in that situation or put you in harm's way, compromise you, and then move on with their merry little life as if nothing ever happened, right? But when judgment is called upon that enemy, based on the wrath of God, because it's like the law of life, the universal law where It's like cause and effect. An analogy, a reference point, a case study, an example is like if somebody goes to another person and does harm to that person, compromises that person, sabotages that person, destroys something of that person. If somebody attacks another person in any way, spiritually, physically, emotionally, verbally, it's that cause and effect where if the person that is attacked does not retaliate and gives it to God, them not retaliating is them giving it to God, allowing God to then intervene in their benefit, in their favor. Noticing how that cause and effect plays out where anyone easily attacked could also want to retaliate and also want to attack, but it doesn't bring forth any justice if you do that, right? It's like you are then becoming God in the situation and saying, you know what? I'm going to do what I need to do to get back at this person for the attack they have sent my way in any way, shape, or form. But I'm seeing here that whatever attacks were sent your way and however way you handled them, it gave God the leeway to prove himself to you and prove his presence in your life in a form of like, you at the end of everything, when all was said and done, you still got justice. And I feel like that's what's happening here, where in situations that were injustice, right? In situations where you were at the other end of it, you were attacked, you were, brutally going through some form of pain or trauma or hurt, any energy of negativity that was done to you or cast upon your life or bestowed in your reality, the way you handled it, the way you maneuvered through it, you showed God that because of what you went through, you showed God that you are bigger than the situation at hand, right? Because the enemy does not know what your purpose is. The enemy does not know what tomorrow brings. Neither do we, right? You also don't know that. So if God says, okay, you do that to my daughter today, you do that to my son today, enemy, it's okay, I'll let you get away with that. But when the time comes for you to bear the fruit of that very same labor, meaning that very same attack that was done to my daughter, my son, is now it has to fall on you. It's like it happens in a way where somebody blocks their blessings by attacking someone genuine, someone good, someone that isn't deserving of that energy to begin with. And how they block their blessings is once that is done to you, whatever they do, it returns into their life in different forms. Someone might harm you in a specific way, but the way the karma plays out in their life could be a much more amplified, or it's like it could mean more than what they did. It's like an analogy, a reference point, a case study, an example is, let's take the modernization of it, right? Where we are living in this world and there's so many scams going on, right? People are just scamming people. People are lying about, simple things like products that they sell or things that they do or what they really about. They just say whatever for the profit, say whatever for the benefit. And let's say somebody is used to doing this, like this person is just scamming people. They're just used to doing it. And then they come across that one person that they scam, not realizing that the person that they're doing it to is somebody of high authority in the spirit realm, someone of God's elect. Them doing it is putting hindrances in their life, because when they do that to that person, scam that person, they are enabling a backfire in their reality. Let's say they used to get away with scamming. Now all of a sudden, they get put through a certain journey of life where they no longer are successful at it. People start speaking up, or they get found by somebody who is really mad and upset and angry and wants to lash out at them. And it just happens like a domino effect, right? That bad luck of something that was a certain way, now it's no longer that way because somebody decided to scam somebody that was genuine, something that had God in it. You know what I mean? So I am seeing here that, coming back to the generalization of this message, whatever was done to you, beloved, in negativity, right? Whatever was said as well, it has been returned to sender. Even if it's something that took place years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, even 2 weeks, 2 days, it automatically goes back to where it came from. Okay? It just affects that enemy's life in a different way. God knows where to press the buttons. God knows what will sting and stay stinging. So he will apply pressure in that enemy's life using the very same access that you gave him by allowing him to do that. Because if you had taken matters into your own hands, you wouldn't be giving God the portal, the access, the door to do something in your behalf or on your behalf to that person that did you wrong in some way. Imagine all those people that attacked you physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and you had retaliated. You would have been no better than them. Silence is you saying to God, I give it to you. Silence is you letting it go. All right. And then you allow the situation to unfold in a different way, not the way that it would have if you would have lowered your vibration to fit the enemy's vibration. Because if you were to have retaliated, you would have had to act the way they did or do something along the lines of what they did to prove a point or to make a statement, or you know what I'm saying, to validate something here or bring forth a level of justice for yourself. But your free will never be able to give you the justice that God's hand in your life can give you. It is easy to go back to back with somebody, but if you allow God to control that narrative and you don't control the narrative by trying to say something, do something because somebody said something and did something to you, you give God an opportunity to give you justice in life. Now all of a sudden that person, time goes by, whoever has wronged you in certain type of ways, time goes by, and now when you look back at that person, they are as miserable as ever, or things are not going their way. Doors and opportunities are not, they're not receiving none of that. Financial instability or difficulties, mental health struggles and problems. They are unable to keep a job. They are unable to live life in a way of like being happy, having peace of mind, peace within their heart. Their spirit is all over the place. You might think you are hurting the enemy by trying to gain a form of justice for what they did to you, but the way to hurt an enemy is to not react at all. If you don't say nothing, if you don't do nothing, you always leave them in the energy of wondering, okay, why is this? I know what I did, I know what I said, so why is this person not doing anything? Like, automatically karma starts to unravel in their life. It starts with the paranoia of them thinking that you are going to do something in return because they know what they did, or you are going to say something in return because they know what they said. And then it creates that domino effect where they have to live with it. Now the next time they hear your name or see you, or the next time a certain situation arises and they now have to do what they did to you to another person, they'll think twice about it, because they'll always wonder, okay, but I did it to that person. Why didn't this? It's like, to react would be to give the enemy assurance, like, oh, I know where you at with it. Oh, okay, I know what you feel. Now I know, okay. But if you don't validate their actions, no matter how bad or how traumatic or how painful, you allow the situation to unravel itself for what it is, where they'll have to be haunted by their own demons, which is what is happening here. Okay? There are several people that have wronged you spiritually, emotionally, physically, verbally, mentally. And it's a situation where those very same people's lives are falling apart in a specific way here. The things that used to make them happy, people that used to make them happy, it's no longer the same. Opportunities, doors closing, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. It's like everything is imbalanced here, right? It's all in shambles. It's all distorted here. Okay? And God blows the whistle on an enemy in ways that the enemy does not expect, right? So whoever the enemy is to you, at some point they did seem bigger than you because of the pain and the trauma and the tragedy they caused in your life. It did seem like this person has some form of power. It did seem like this person was able to do something, but as time goes on and karma is unraveled in people's lives, they lose whatever power and control they thought they had, and it creates this consequence or spirit of consequence where it's no longer them just having to live with it. They will always have that to reflect on about themselves. All right. We have the Five of Pentacles here. We have the belittling energy, David and Goliath metaphor here. And then we have the High Priestess. So when the enemy thought you were small, right? When the enemy thought you were gullible, naive, when the enemy thought you were an easy target, God wanted it that way, so that when karma is dished out in a way of tables turning, now you are not what the enemy thought you were. Now the situation is not what the enemy thought it was. Now everything is different. It puts this enemy in a position to be put in their place. It puts this enemy in a position to reevaluate what they've done and understand that the whole time when they thought they had something figured out, they didn't have any clue at all. All right. They were never on point with anything. All right. So whoever your enemies are at this time, whether you are aware of it or not, they're facing some form of injustice where it's like karma unfolding itself, towers falling all over the place. Okay. You'd be surprised what people are going through. You'd be surprised what people are feeling within themselves, what people go through just internally and externally of them. No enemy is going to tell the person that they wanted to see down, or the person that they tried to destroy. You think the enemy is going to tell you that they depressed? You think the enemy is going to tell you that they sad and miserable, lonely? You think the enemy is going to tell you that they're going through financial instability? You think the enemy is going to tell you that, you know, their life is falling apart? No. And when all is said and done, when you keep rising up, that'll be karma to the enemy, because the enemy never wanted you to be above them to begin with. Whatever way, whatever form, you were never meant to rise above the enemy. So whoever the enemy is in your life, just know that you rising time and time again is killing them inside. And what kills them the most is the fact that they thought you would stoop to their level. They thought you would do what they did. They thought that you would handle the situation the way they would. But because you handled it within high vibration, you called that in your life, where you now have respect and dignity, integrity, and morals that everybody has to abide by and obey, because that is what you are and that is what you embody. Okay? Do not ever try and meet an enemy where they're at. If someone says or does something and it's really, really beneath the belt, it's really terrible, even however way they attack you, right? Do not ever feel like you need to do what they did or say what they said. Allow them to do whatever they want to do. And at the end of the day, they'll be the fool, because time tells the story. Your words might tell the story in the now, but when time goes, the truth will eventually be seen, be acknowledged, be heard. And whatever was said and done, someone has to eat that shit. Someone has to. So you've been called to change your perspective, all right? Don't think that God is not fighting on your behalf. Whatever the situation is at this point in your life, whatever was done to you that was unfair, just know that God is already fighting your battles. Just you need to also understand, realistically speaking, beloved, no one is going to tell anyone whether it's someone they connected to or someone they're not connected to. No one will publicly or just say it like, yo, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. People would rather keep up a facade and wear false masks and play all these illusions. That's the world we live in. So just because your awareness of something is not, you don't have clarity of what someone is dealing with and going through because of what they did or said to you or about you, really, it doesn't mean that God is not already doing something on your behalf or something hasn't already been done on your behalf. Okay? I'm being called to end this message here. This was your message from God, Ra, Allah, Source, the Divine. I'm grateful for your time and I thank you for joining me on the Prophetic Vessel Show. To those whom are keen or interested in becoming members of my Patreon, on my Patreon, I offer weekly sign readings for $10 per month based on love as well as spiritual path. I also offer on my Patreon personal readings. For $50 per month, you get a personal reading from me every month based on love, spiritual path, as well as career and finances. You'll find the link to my Patreon listed in my description box below. You can also join my Patreon by typing what is on the screen via Google. Search it, and it'll lead you to my Patreon website. I thank you all for everything, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.